Hello, this is Alex and Tara Aren't Magic, a podcast where Alex, the Harry Potter virgin,
Thank you.
and Tara, the Harry Potter veteran, go through the Harry Potter books in the most magical non-magic journey.
Enjoy me knowing nothing about Harry Potter, apart from the movies.
Alex is a Harry Potter virgin, unacceptably, but he's changing his ways.
I also haven't even watched the movies for about a good 7 years. Well, when did the last one come out?
2011?
That's when I last watched any Harry Potter book. But I used to really be into Harry Potter when I watched it. But
What happened, man?
I don't know. It's just, there's so much of it.
Wait, how old were you in 2011?
I was 14.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah, 14 years old.
You fucking baby.
Yeah, I don't remember probably. I can roughly remember all of what I'll get, because when I was reading this, within the first couple of sentences, I already had everything back from when I first saw the movie, which is kind of annoying. But
oh, so you remember every little plot twist?
yeah, every little part of it.
I mean, you obviously remember how it ends, but you don't know all the intricacies, because the
Yeah.
films, while they do really well, they do actually miss out a lot of detail, because reasonably, how much can you fit into 2 hours?
Well, that, and with the start of it, it lets you build up a whole different kind of world. So,
yeah, but books have the time and the space to do that.
Yeah.
So,
but,
for me, the films and the books are different things. They kind of tell slightly different stories in different ways. So
yeah, the film. That's the only thing, because when you watch the film, you're so used to Daniel Radcliffe as being Harry Potter that when you're reading it, you can only think of those. But now I'm starting to get more into it because I haven't seen Harry Potter for so long. I'm starting to have.
But the films are very well cast, so I don't mind imagining Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, because it works.
Well, it kind of helps in a way, because you can already build up everything you need to build up.
Yeah.
But it gets into more detail, which is why I'm excited.
Okay, give us a chapter summary of the first chapter, which is called what?
The it's called the special one or something like that. What is it?
Wow. The special one?
The boy who lived.
The special
I was going to say
one.
the boy who died. I thought that's not right.
That would be a really short book. This kid died. That was it.
So it starts off, and this is what I couldn't remember. It started off with just explaining what the Dursleys were like, and when it goes through what they're like, you instantly have a hatred towards them straight away.
Yeah.
Because it explains, it's the typical, just stuck up British, working class, which doesn't make sense, but it does make sense.
Really uptight.
Just uptight. And then it goes just from explaining their family. And then it goes on to, again, which was the only annoying thing, is because I've watched the movies, when it starts to explain Mr. Dursley going to work and seeing the cat. I know who the cat is already.
Yeah.
And that goes for, but it was still exciting because you're waiting for them to find out. You're waiting for it. And it goes on to him going to work, and then when it explains, just that's the one thing I didn't remember, is him going to work.
That's not in the films.
Yeah, and him seeing all these different people as he's going with cloaks on.
Yeah.
And everything like that, and then that starts to build up your excitement. But then I also wasn't sure, because the Muggles, do they know anything about?
No. So there's a magical law, that you can't tell Muggles anything about the Wizarding World.
Okay. Because they kind of ruin that. They don't ruin it, but there's a dwarf. Well, it's not a dwarf, and something. I don't know what he is, but in the book, he gets knocked by Mr. Dursley, and he hugs him. He says, oh, you don't have to be sorry. Everyone, even the Muggles, should be celebrating today. Which I was oh, I didn't know.
There's a dwarf?
Maybe he's not a dwarf. Maybe
I'm pretty sure it's just the guy who's dressed weirdly. Who Mr. Dursley runs
small,
into.
Little fragile guy. No, I can't find it. I mean, I should have ripped that bit down because that did confuse me because I thought they don't know anything about each other. I'm going to find this.
Okay, we'll just have silence until you find that.
He said, I don't know. I'm sure. Sorry, he grunted as a tiny old man stumbled and almost fell. A tiny old man. He wasn't a dwarf, fair enough, but
of course,
he was a tiny old man that's got a cloak. So.
Okay. Yeah, so Mr. Dursley doesn't know anything about it, but he does. No, I'll be spoiling it if I tell you anything else.
Yeah, no, don't tell me anything. Even I've watched all the movies, so I know how it ends. But no, and then after that it goes to Dumbledore, which was exciting because the way it describes him is like he's like you could already tell like how expansive the world's going to be because the way you've got like the cat who, I mean, you know who that's going to be anyway. But then you have that with Dumbledore coming in, and then Hagrid coming in on the big bike, and then Hagrid's not just in the movie but on the book as well. Is instantly lovable as soon as he comes in because he's just like the typical big giant that's really emotional, and then he comes into it, and that was exciting. And then, I mean, the first chapter was. It's hard to explain because it's like shocking to me because I've seen the movie.
Shocking in what way?
Like, the fact there's a cat that is actually a woman, and then you have a giant riding in on a bike on a motorbike.
It's not like anything you've read before, right?
Yeah, no, it's that. Well, that's the crazy thing because once I take like the movies out of it, you do like look at it and you're like, oh, like. It's crazy because of how big that world, and you forget how big the world is because on the movie you're seeing it just goes to different scenes, whereas this is explaining every detail of every person, everything you see. But that's a bad thing, I guess. I've watched them. I wish I hadn't watched them now.
But you haven't watched them for like 9 years.
Yeah, but it was weird how much I remembered the first movie.
Yeah, they make a real impression.
Yeah. It was crazy, yeah. And like a lot of the things it's not like word for word or like scene for scene, but it's like very close to it in that first chapter at least. Anyway,
yeah.
Like a lot of it. Well, I don't remember Hagrid crying that much.
Hagrid doesn't cry in the first movie. He does in the later one.
But on the book, it's like saying how he cries.
Yeah, he's just a big friendly giant.
And if you don't love Hagrid.
You're dead inside.
Yeah, because he's the coolest man, and I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be from Bristol as well, which is.
Is he?
I don't think he's born in Bristol, but he has
Where
a Bristolian
accent.
When you read it, I can only read it in like a Bristolian accent, like a big giant man.
That's amazing.
It makes him a lot less intimidating.
Because he speaks in his own slang.
Yeah.
So I guess you could put an accent to it. I don't know why Bristol, but...
Yeah, I don't know why Bristol. He's like a big, just giant pirate. And then...
Did you just say pirate?
Yeah, he has like the pirate accent.
And that's Bristolian?
I think it is, actually. I'm almost certain that's a fact. The pirate accent's Bristolian.
Lucky you don't know anyone from Bristol, Too offended.
And then summary. How's that... how's that end? Because it doesn't. And then it ends with him crying. They all go off.
What about Harry?
And then, they mention Voldemort.
Yeah.
Which is also exciting because the way they build him up, like from the get go, like you hear like people murmuring, like he's like he who shall not be named, and then they all talked about it. That was exciting.
You're not going to meet Voldemort until like the second last chapter. Or,
that's what's one frustrating because you want to. Like you want to get like reading it, you want to jump straight into like Harry going into the school and then meeting everyone else.
Yeah,
in there.
But it's not about the destination; it's the journey of the book.
It is. I need to read more books, is what I found out.
Sorry.
What I found out is I need to read more books because I always try and read like these like history books, which I like, but I have to be in the mood, or I have to be in like that zone of like liking that part of history or really into it. Whereas with this, with the Harry Potter book, when you're reading it, you're building up this world in your head, and then you just want to get to the next part and the next part. Like you're not just learning stuff; you're just like living. You kind of just on a little adventure in your head. It's so nice.
It's so much fun,
and it's really calming as well to read.
And you sit outside of the sun reading it, so not too bad, is it?
Yeah, I did. I got banned. My little white legs got banned.
Sun cream, people!
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it matters how much sunscreen I put on. I'm too white to not get banned a little bit.
So you should just stay inside all the time.
So I just stay inside. That's why I'm in my covers while it's sunny outside, and I could be reading.
Did you say in your cupboard?
Covers.
Oh, okay. That's a bit Harry Potter.
Yeah, I was going to say a little Harry Potter. I've really got into the book now.
You gotta live the Harry Potter.
Yeah. That was the other bit, is the book makes you sadder, I think, in the way he's treated.
Yeah, the abuse is much more apparent in it.
Yeah, in the movie it's more of like they're so overly done, not too overly, like it's done well, but because of the way the movie's filmed, they're like overly done, and they're very like, they're so annoying, they're almost not annoying. Like,
yeah, it's almost comical.
Yeah.
But like, because those films are for children, they're not going to push it so much. But the books are for children. But it's the child's not going to understand probably what abuse is.
The deeper side of like what that's going into. Even like in the movie, the like his room under the stairs. Like, I'm not sure about you. Like, I didn't want to have that room, but it looked kind of like a cool room.
Yeah, it was kind of like quirky and fun, even though it was supposed to be dank and horrible and full of spiders.
But in that it was kind of cool. Whereas in this one, it's explaining like he's picking out his socks and there's spiders on it, and it's like you can hear people running down. And it's a lot darker.
It's a shite hole.
Reading it, yeah. I like it.
What you get again from the books is you're in Harry's mind most of the time.
Yeah.
So you get a lot more explanation as to why he's behaving the way he is.
Yeah.
Especially in sort of the later books, because he's obviously got to make bigger and bigger decisions and go through a lot more crap.
Because the way the book's written as well is it flips as soon as Harry's old enough. Once Harry gets older and it's on to what's the son called again?
The son?
Yeah, the Dursley kid.
Oh, Dudley.
Yeah, when it like skips and he's having his birthday, and now suddenly it's like Harry's older. Then like it switches from just some random person talking about the Dursleys and what they're like, to then suddenly it goes into Harry, and it started to talk like from his mind, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, pretty much like 99% of the chapters are from his perspective. You occasionally get a bit of Voldemort. Spoiler.
Oh, damn it. Yeah.
But it's because it's done from that, and because he doesn't know the wizarding world, you go into it the same as him, because you're a Muggle too.
Yeah, I think the cool parts about it is that like it's so like crazy, the stuff that is happening to him, like the way it explains it, like his hair growing back, and it makes you realise like how like one, either important he is, and also how like exciting the book's gonna get, because you're seeing like these little snippets of like, oh, he shaves his head and his hair grows back.
Yeah,
like,
he's special.
Why does that happen?
I think it's she's used it in the way that kind of puberty works when you're that kind of age. Because your body's changing so drastically, everything feels so odd and you don't really understand what's happening. So in the same way, him becoming or awakening his magic is the equivalent to puberty. And that it's like, I don't know what's wrong with my body, I don't know what's wrong with me, I must be a weirdo.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like a lot of deeper meanings behind it, because the fact that he's not told at all like what his background is. So it's just a kid growing up thinking he's a complete freak, and also being treated like a freak to everyone else.
Yeah, like, it's surprising he's not a school shooter.
Yeah, if this was real life, he wouldn't become a magician. Like he's a magician. Harry Potter.
Fucking magician.
If that's how the book ended, he went to Hogwarts and just got a degree in being a magician. Comes back to the Muggle world. That's the.
I mean, you'd make a lot of money though because you're doing real magic.
Yeah, you could really fall everywhere.
But then that's illegal.
Shaving my hair and then it grow back.
You what?
I'd just keep shaving my hair and let it grow back. I would just do that trick. That would get me enough money, I think, to get through.
To get through.
Yeah.
The big magician competition. Someone's just walked past with a hula hoop. That's weird.
Oh wow, you should chat with them because they should be quarantined right now.
I think hula hooping counts as exercise.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think that's almost crossing the line.
Crossing the hoop.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Okay, what are your expectations for the next chapter?
God, I need to look, because I did read through the chapter, a bit of it last night, but then I was so tired that I put it down. It shows you how little I read books, by the way. This is my bookmark, it's just a train ticket. Yeah. What is the chapter? What is the next chapter?
Well, so you don't even travel that much? When's that train ticket from?
I think it's not that long ago. Let me check. So the next one's... Oh, wow, the next chapter is... Oh. The Vanishing Glass.
Oh.
Okay. Right, this train ticket is from January this year, so... Haha.
Wow, that's rude.
I win.
What do you think The Vanishing Glass is about?
Well, I know what it's about.
Alright.
But I actually did forget until you just said it, The Vanishing Glass. It just popped up in my head what that was. But at the moment, I can't remember if this was at the end of the last chapter or the start of it. This new chapter, where it's talked about the zoo, and it's going on like, should we take him? So I obviously know what's going to happen. But again, it's darker because they're trying to find every other situation for him not to go. And in your head, you're kind of... even though you know it works out well, him going to the zoo, you want him to be able to stay at home and do what he wants.
Yeah, you're rooting for him already.
I think I'm excited. I'm almost now like impatient and want him to just find out everything. Like I want him to do
just
something
gonna
crazy.
skip ahead of each chapter.
Just blow down the house. I just want him to like do something crazy and just get out. But I can't actually remember what happens after the glass disappears and the snake, and he talks to the snake.
Spoiler.
But spoiler for myself. But I'm excited to see how everyone reacts to it, because I can't really remember that from the movie.
Well, again, there's more like detail of it.
Yeah.
There's, consequences. How you'll see.
I'm pretty sure as well this happened, but I can't remember Dudley having a mate that comes.
Yeah, it's not in the film.
That's not in the film either, because his mate sounds even worse than Dudley.
No one's worse than Dudley.
No, I hate when it explains in the first chapter. It might be in the second chapter at the start of it, when it explains how he is crying, like fake crying. And then his best mate knocks on the door, and it suddenly stops crying and runs to the door. Yeah, if I had a kid like that, I would boot him in the face.
Would you now? That's good parenting.
I would disown that child so fast, especially if I had Harry on my hands. In his head, and his hair keeps growing back. I think this is the child we should take care of more than this one.
This child is clearly special.
Yeah. That one there has obviously got some special abilities. We do not care about the fat little chubby one that cries all the time. We could always have a child like that.
Any day.
We want the one that is fine with living in a staircase.
Well, let's hope you never have children.
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's Harry Potter. I've treated him a
Harry
lot
Potter.
Harry Potter.
Those are the only muggles that are allowed to know about the wizarding world, is if you have a child who's a wizard, but you're a muggle.
There's so much of me that wants it to be real now as well.
It might be real.
Yeah, there's a part of me that thinks maybe I'm the Harry, and this is.
Oh, you're
star.
the Harry.
Yeah,
you know Harry's 11 years old, right?
Yeah.
If you were magic, it would have happened by now.
Mentally, I'm 11 years old.
That is very true.
It'd be funny if there was just a letter that I just not looked at, just threw it away.
Why would you get a letter when you were 11 years old?
From Hogwarts.
Your mum would have read it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe she read it. She was like, "Oh, it must be some game he's playing." Just threw it in the bin. Dumbledore's waiting
What?
for me.
Have you ever noticed any, weird stuff happening?
Gal seems to not. Gal seems to be repulsed by me.
Ah!
So maybe it's the magic I'm giving off.
Yeah. Magic ain't got nothing to do with that.
Maybe they're so intimidated by my magic skills.
Yes, Alex, of course. Yeah. Alright, let's wrap it up there.
Okay.
We'll be back for chapter 2.
Yeah, how many chapters have we got? Because this will be exciting.
It's not that many.
It's a lot smaller of a book than I thought it was going to be.
It's really short.
I was expecting to have a task on my hands, but I think I can get through.
How many chapters are
there? There are. I was just about to say the stupidest thing ever.
Go on.
And say there's 310. The last chapter ends on page 310. There's 17, so it's quite a few. But
okay.
Let me see. I don't want to look at the chapters because then I know.
No, don't look at the titles, even that's spoilers.
The other thing that, just before we end it, got me excited was looking at the map and seeing Hogwarts and I'm so excited to get through all of this.
There's a map in that version? Let me see.
Yeah, I'll show it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's exciting.
The Forbidden Forest. This is the bits when I was reading it, I was like, oh, I remember. I feel like this memory will never get out of my head, but I always remember the scene in the greenhouse with the screaming plants.
That's the second one. That's it for episode 1, chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived, until chapter 2,
which is something.
Sweet.